What's up, good people? Thank you for joining me for another episode of Soul Food Sundays. Honey, let me tell y'all, I done had to record this video over so many times. I almost quit on y'all today, honey. I almost clocked out and walked off the job. You hear me? But the Lord said, get your Palo Santo, bless the room, because I did neglect to do that. And that's probably why. But, we ready now. In my Pastor Troy voice, it's on now. We ready. It's on now. We ready. Okay, before I get too far gone with that, because I get into my own little crunk situation, we are going to be using the power of surrender cards today, because they are so fitting for the kind of energy that we are going to be experiencing this week. On April 7th, which I think is Thursday, we have a full moon in Scorpio. Full moons are all about releasing. That's when the moon is at its most potential energy, and it's a good time to release anything that's not serving your highest good, to release anything that is hindering you from moving forward and showing up in the world as your best self or connecting with God. So we're going to use the power of surrender cards to get a message from Spirit as to what it is that we need to surrender as we experience the full moon in Scorpio energy. Now, with that being said, we all know that Scorpio energy is not to be played with. It's one of the darkest energies of the zodiac, not to be misconstrued as something that is evil or dark in that way. But Scorpio energy is that energy that dives deep into the shadow side, that energy that calls you to heal emotional instabilities, secrets, grudges, things of that nature, any sexual secret sexual desires that you may have. You're being called under the energy of the full moon to surrender those types of things. But we're going to get a message from Spirit, because we don't want to just go off of what I know to be relative to Scorpio energy. We want to go off of the message that God gives us. So with that being said, we're going to go to God in prayer, and then we're going to get to it. So Father God, Mother Earth, ancestors, and spirit guides, we thank you in advance for the message that you're bringing forth to serve our highest good, so that we may be better vessels for you, God. We thank you for your love and light. Amen. So Spirit, what is the energy of the full moon in Scorpio bringing into our lives and asking us to surrender? What are we being asked to surrender as a collective, God? Spirit, whoa, all the damn cards on the fire. What are we being asked to release? Okay, Spirit, what you got for the people today? Anything? Whoa, okay, all right. I guess Spirit said, okay, you gonna be smart and you gonna rush me. I got you. I got like 100 cards for you. How about that? That's all right. The more the better. We'll take it, because the people need to know what we surrendering. Oh. Okay, all right. We'll take it. So our first message: surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. Oh, baby, I'll take that on this day and every day. This lady is standing next to this lion like, what we doing? Yes, surrender to your full power. Stop playing small to make other people feel better about their self, their position in life. That's not who God called you to be. So under the energy of this full moon in Scorpio, we're being called to surrender to our full power under the energy of this full moon. Not your half power. Not Surrender to a little bit of your power. Not give them a little bit. The card said give them all of it. Let them have it. This is who God created me to be, and so this is what you're going to get. Take it or leave it. But this is what we're doing. I love it. Show up as your full self, bold, proud. The next message says surrender negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. And that is so true. Affirmations are so important. If you don't follow me on IG, I'd love to have you as a follower over there, and every day I'm posting some form of an affirmation, whether it's on my page, in my on my profile, or in my stories. Some daily affirmations to keep us uplifted and motivated. And affirmations are important because we are so quick to negative self-talk. Some of us, we talk better to ourselves than other people do. The voice in our heads and the conversations that we have with ourselves are sometimes worse than our worst enemy could down us or hate on us or could say to us. And we have to do better about that, because in order to know thyself, in order to honor yourself, you have to know yourself. And if you know that you behave that way towards yourself, you really can't expect other people to treat you much better. That negative self-talk, whether you realize it or not, it shows up in your relationships with other people. So we have to be mindful of the negative self-talk and the negative thinking, not only about other people but ourselves. We have to really work harder to try to rechannel our thoughts. When a negative thought comes up, clear that. Say no thank you, or thank you for sharing, and then focus on something else. Get you a positive affirmation so that when a negative thought comes up, you can replace it with a positive thought. That's really the key to negative thinking, because once you start to think more positive, you'll start to notice more positive things actually happening in your physical life. It all starts within the mental and spiritual body. So the next message is surrender resentments. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. Absolutely. In order to make room for positive situations in your life, you have to forgive people for their shortcomings, because we're all human. We all make mistakes. And just because you forgive people doesn't mean that you have to fool with them. You can forgive them and move on with your life. You can forgive them and decide, I don't want to associate with this person anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with this person anymore. I want to make room for better. And that's fine. That's your decision to make. But forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. So if you're holding any resentment in your heart for another person, that's taking up space where love could abide. And you don't want to take up space, waste space on the past when you can make room for the future or the present. Like, you want to focus on the positive and not the negative. So definitely use this full moon in Scorpio to get rid of any resentments that you may have, whether it be towards your parents, your spouse. You might have some resentments towards your children, or even better yet, with that negative thinking and surrendering to your full power. In order to do that, you need to surrender any resentments you have towards yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. We all make mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God. But you know what? He loves us still. God forgives us still. So we should forgive ourselves. And we should also forgive others. So the next message is surrender your desire to control people. You cannot control people. Being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. So one thing I'm noticing about these cards, the surrender negative thinking is telling you to refocus. And surrender your desire to control people is telling you to regroup. Take this time out to revisit some things that you need to bring an end to, that you need to release. And one of those things is release your desire to control people, because ultimately you cannot. The only person that you're in control of is yourself. And sometimes we don't do a good job of that, which says that needs your attention. That's what deserves your attention. If you have trouble with controlling people, if you're a controlling or overbearing person, I would suggest getting acquainted with the serenity prayer, because the serenity prayer reminds us to accept things that we cannot change, and one of those things that we cannot change is other people. So the next message is surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. So yeah, these messages are in large part saying to forgive yourself, to stop being so hard on yourself, to focus on your positives and not your negatives, your strengths and not your weaknesses, to let go of any resentment that you may have about yourself. And when you do that, when you focus on yourself and not trying to control other people, then you can have better relationships with other people. It starts with self. In order to step out in this world in your full power, as your best self, as your highest self, these are the steps that you have to take, the things that you need to do in order to make sure that you're whole, that you're not only looking good on the outside, but that you're also feeling and looking good on the inside. It's all about holistic growth. You don't want to step out into this world and you're putting on a smile, you're dressed nice, you're driving a nice car, and there's so many of us that do it, and you're miserable on the inside, you're empty on the inside, you're lost on the inside, because eventually that will show. And you will crash and burn. That will show. You'll be embarrassed. It'll hurt worse because you put on a front and now you can't keep that facade up. So you want to take this time to release those things that just are not allowing you to step forward in your full power in this world. And by stepping forward in your full power, I mean just be yourself, being who God created you to be. This world has influenced us in so many ways to where a lot of us don't know who God created us to be. We haven't taken time to figure that out. We haven't taken time to find that out. And all that is required in order to do that is to take some time to yourself. Get to know yourself. Commune with God. Talk to God. Spend time with God. And He'll reveal those things to you. We spend so much time trying to get to know other people and investing our time and energy into other relationships, and very seldomly do we do that for ourselves and develop a relationship with ourselves or God. So we're being asked to put that in the forefront, release anything that's keeping us from doing that. If we're going to have the riches of this earth and all the things that God has put before us to have dominion over, these are the things that we're being commanded to take care of within ourselves, to sweep around our own front door instead of worrying about other people and what they're doing in their affairs, and just really take time out to make sure that we are in a great place, that we are connected, that we are aligned, and that we are ascending. So I thank you guys for joining me for Soul Food Sunday. I pray that this message found you well and that something was said that's going to help you throughout the week. With that being said, peace.